Welcome back to the final segment of our afternoon, of our entire day of inquiry into 9/11, and now this is the healing and humor segment, which is going to be led off and hosted by Stephen Dinan, my friend and my compadre, and the producer of this conference, who's made all this possible in terms of raising funds, logistics, planning, along with myself, and also, by the way, along with Ken Jenkins, who you all know. And Stephen is a man of many talents and who's done many important things in the progressive and transformational movement here in, well, nationwide. Stephen is the founder of the Transformative Community Network and of something called the Radical Spirit Community. And if you're not on his email list, get on it. It's an amazing group of people based mainly in Marin. And Stephen has a very broad education and speaks from a very deep heart. His one of the most amazing things Stephen's done is he's the founder, helped direct and founded with Michael Murphy, the Esalen Institute's Center for Theory and Research. And Stephen has been exploring human potential frontiers for a long time. He has a lot to tell you, but we only have, unfortunately, a brief time. I'd like to present you the producer of this conference, Stephen Dinan.
And this is his book. Book Radical Spirit. I think there's 2 copies in the library. One of the things is we've been talking here today that we've talked a lot about is the shadow and the dark force and the problematic dimensions of that in the world. And I want to do a little bit of a reframing of 9/11 and looking at this, kind of pulling out to a wider angle lens, less about particular personalities, less about particular things, and thinking of this as an initiation of America into adulthood. America is a young country, full of braggadocio, chest thumping, very good at aggression, not so good at compassion, very good at sort of, standing on the podium, being the victor, not so good at humility. There's a way in which, as a country, the field of our country, the consciousness of our country is more or less at a kind of high adolescent morality right now. It's mainly egocentric. It's oriented to getting more for ourselves, sort of building our national identity. And I believe that there's a fundamental disconnect right now between where America is and the amount of power we wield. We wield the power of the patriarch in the family while still acting as the adolescent. We wield the power of the king while still acting as a sort of self-interested, petty knight or something. We are not living up to the nobility of our adult possibility in the way that we are. So I believe on a subtler level that has less to do with particular people and particular corrupted patterns which stream all the way back in history. I believe that 9/11 arrived as an initiation for America to outgrow its adolescence. It's an evolutionary imperative that we simply cannot go as the world to the next stage without America going to the next stage of its maturity. So, what is involved in an initiatory process? Initiations traditionally in a lot of cultures have been ordeals. They often involve pain, suffering, deprivation, emotional struggle. There's a way in which our identities constellate in a very powerful and compelling way around whatever we've known. And there's entrenchment about that. And initiations take people out of that entrenchment, and through a sort of a rite of passage of some sort, they are separated from their last identity and emerge into a more complete new stage. And in traditional cultures, there's often very ritualized process with a lot of sophistication. America as a whole doesn't have much sophistication about ritualized, processes of maturation in this way. And so I think in a funny kind of way, we've magnetized this as a culture, and that we are now in the middle of the initiatory cycle. And there's the kind of connecting from the old, but what's first happened is this, as the sort of the breakdown of the old structure of this collective psyche happened, there's this enormous upsurge. It's like the dying off of a red supernova. we go. That was very well architected, whoever did that. So it's like the dying off, where a star goes supernova before imploding. So there's in response to the terrorism, both external and internal, there's an explosion and exaggeration of the old structure, which is necessarily precedes the death of it and the birth into a new structure. And so I see that the 9/11 truth work is essentially playing almost a shamanic role in helping the culture as a whole transition through this initiation. And it involves a deep personal transformation for each person who undertakes the journey. I mean, as you know today, my partner Deva was sort of like very, she had to go upstairs for a while. There's just a tremendous emotion coming up because it's profoundly disillusioning to really let this stuff land, and it lands on different levels at different times. Sometimes you get it cognitively, and it'll hit you in your belly, and it's quite intense. And this is each person, as this movement proceeds, will need to go through a very similar process, and it may be more intense for people who haven't been involved in spiritual practice, involved in progressive politics, things that have schooled them in being a little bit outside of the dominant structures. So I want to sort of reframe this and connecting it back with the dark energy. Sort of the darker energy of the universe is a sort of, it's an intense evolutionary driver in a way. The suffering and pain and all this sort of struggle kind of it's almost like rocket fuel that forces people and cultures and organizations to evolve in a fairly brutal way. But there is a sort of a divine perfection in a way of that darker force and its energy. So what I encourage people to do in relationship to 9/11 is to sort of think about it from within this larger context, that we're each going through our own personal initiation, which is linked to this collective initiation. And from that stance, there becomes this, I think, comes a real hopefulness, that it feels, to me, time limited. There is a maturation going on, and one by one, it sparks out. The number of people here is 5 times the number of people a year ago. And it ripples out, and that individual transformation starts to link and become a compelling wave. My hope is that wave is compelling enough that the larger cycle of initiation happens through the mass media this year before George Bush is elected. If that doesn't happen to be in the cards, I think that it will proceed nonetheless. And I see this as, when I really let this land, I felt so much better about our future, honestly. And I'll tell you why, because I couldn't see anything on the horizon that was powerful enough to perform that initiatory function for America to outgrow its adolescence. Too much braggadocio, too much military power, too much economic power. What is going to be powerful enough to take us out of our own hubris and start to behave as a steward of the world and a steward of global resources? And so when I really got 9/11, I thought, there was sort of this rush of realization. It's like, wow, this is the only thing that is sufficiently powerful to shake us from the roots of that old worldview, once it's really integrated in the culture as a whole, to shake us from those roots and catapult us into a more global system where we are using our excess power in the service of humankind, where we are using our excess power in the service of ecological transformation, where we are using our excess power for the global family, where we become the really noble patriarch in a healthy sense, and matriarch as well. But I think that a lot of the patterns are particularly oriented around the masculine in the world right now. And so maybe it's more the healthy balance of the patriarch and the matriarch, but it's the language I'm using right now. So I think that if you take this wider stance of it, I find a lot more patience and acceptance of people's individual process, because this is an epical transformation and epical initiation that America is going through. And my personal work in doing healing work with people is you cannot accelerate the process without backlash and some sort of, there's almost a digestive mechanism in transformation, like how much change can a system take before it short circuits, backfires, needs to wall off. And so in talking to individual people, everybody I talk to about this, I'm always standing from the assumption that they eventually will have to come to terms with this, because I believe it will come out. And the degree to which they are able to come to terms with it is how far they can go right now. And so I think that our job is to both be really bold and bodacious and really bring this forward, but also have the deeper underpinning understanding of like this is a sort of a sacred initiatory transition for America as a whole, and to hold the candle, I think, that this may be the single best lever to actually open up the kind of behavior, the kind of maturity on a world scale that America needs to demonstrate if we are really to do this right as a planet and not just self-implode. So I was going to do about 20 minutes, but I thought I would just be, boom, hit it straight to the point there. And I think that's the main thing I wanted to say. Good. Great. And maybe just one other piece. So it's like, and each of us integrating our own shadow. And I know this is distasteful to a lot of people, but doing meditations where you're really trying to find the place of like I'll try to tune in to Bush or Cheney on a kind of soul level, and somehow they are also being puppeteered by these larger forces. That they have their own reasons for incarnating. They've got their own kind of, and on the surface level, it's all Machiavellian and dark. And on some other level, they are actually serving this evolutionary process as well. So when I can reside in that place, which is not all the time, like I watch them on television, and I certainly don't reside there. But I think returning back to that again and again, like, oh, it's like they are also actors in this larger drama, and to honor them in a way for their role, because I think ultimately in going down in history, their role is going to be a far harder role. They may have the power right now, but when this all unfolds, they are going to be vilified in a way that few human beings, I believe, historically have been, and that's quite a burden to take on. And so there's a level of feeling compassion for them projecting into the future that they will likely face at some point, alive or dead. So wanted to say that, and next introduce a few more poems from Colette.
Initiation. So I'd like to offer a couple of initiatory poems of diving in. The first is from Kabir, translation by Robert Bly. If you don't break your ropes while you're alive, do you think ghosts will do it after? The idea that the soul will join with the ecstatic just because the body is rotten, that is all fantasy. What is found now is found then. If you find nothing now, you will simply end up with an apartment in the city of death. But if you make love with the divine now, in the next life, you will have the face of satisfied desire. And from Goethe, also by Robert Bly. I guess he wanted to be here today. Tell a wise person, or else keep silent, because the mass man will mock it right away. I praise what is truly alive, what longs to be burned to death. In the calm water of the love nights, where you were begotten, where you have begotten, a strange feeling comes over you when you see the silent candle burning. Now you are no longer caught in the obsession with darkness, and a desire for higher lovemaking sweeps you upward. Distance does not make you falter. Now, arriving in magic, flying, and finally insane for the light, you are the butterfly, and you are gone. And so long as you haven't experienced this, to die and so to grow, you are only a troubled guest on the dark earth. And so long as you haven't experienced this, to die and so to grow, you are only a troubled guest on the dark earth.
Thank you, Colette. And before I introduce the next guest, I really want to encourage you to go up and visit the extraordinary exhibition that Colette has created in one of the healing rooms upstairs. She's quite an artist, and also sample her book afterwards, too. So next we have Errol and Rochelle Strider. They have developed a new model for entertainment and spiritual education called Entertainment. It combines philosophical inquiry, spiritual discovery, and psychological growth with comedy and theater. So they've devoted the last 28 years to their ministry, traveling across the United States, doing performances and conducting workshops. They both have an extensive background as performers, therapists, and theologians. They'll be opening their latest production, Been There, Undone That, a comedy about relationships inspired by the book Power of Now. Be sure and drop by their table. Outside, there's some information outside about their show, which opens in November, and their workshops. And now, please welcome Errol and Rochelle Strider.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to be here. Quick sound check. Can you hear me all right? Yes. Great. Our approach, for me, the change needs to take place at a deep level of the unconscious where patterns of behavior exist. And I find one of the most powerful ways of reaching the unconscious is through metaphor, through art, and through humor. So we're going to do a few pieces for you this afternoon, which...
We weren't ready for that.
No, I've got one.
This is...
Oh.
And you have to wear both.
Well, there's going to be two of us.
Then we'll have to swap.
I'm being doubled up.
Sorry, I wasn't told.
Okay. Okay. Anyway, so part of what today is all about is really the probing of truth. So what better place to probe for truth than in a quaint little French cafe called Chez Truth. Where I will be playing Marcel, the French waiter. Ah!
Oh, hello. Hello.
Welcome to Chez Truth, Madame. I am so happy to have you here this evening.
Oh,
I am Marcel, your waiter.
oh.
Sit
I'm
down.
so excited to be here. I have been meaning to come to this place for years, but this is the first time I have actually done it. Oh.
Sit down,
Oh,
s'il vous
thank
plaît.
you. Thank you. Oh, my. Oh, I'm just thrilled.
Please take a look at our menu.
Oh, well, I have to put my glasses on.
I understand, Madame.
Presbyopia, you
Oh,
know.
oui.
Oh, right. Oh, I have to tell you something. I have been to other places that say they serve the truth. But to tell you the truth, oh, that's a pun, isn't it? I think they serve processed truth.
Ah, we do not serve processed truth here at Chez Truth, Madame. Here we serve the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Oh, good. Let me
Now,
see.
we have a number of wonderful selections. May I recommend some dishes for you, Madame?
Oh, please.
Well, tonight we are serving scrambled truth. Very popular with the media. Served on the side with mixed messages. Now, we also have a truth au gratin.
Oh, did you say rotten truth?
Well, we used to serve a rotten truth, Madame, but we served it with mixed blessings. It was not so popular.
Oh, of course not. Well, what else do you have?
We also have poached truth, which we get from other places.
Well, to tell the truth, oh, I did it again. Oh, my. Well, I'd like to start with some of these demi-truths. You know, some half-truths.
Ah, oui, madame. You notice we have half-truths and we also have half-baked truths. They are quicker to prepare, but of course do not have the nutritional value of the whole truth. But some people prefer them because they are only half interested.
What is that woman having?
Oh, you don't want her truth, madame. Trust Marcel. You want your own truth.
Oh. Well, maybe I could start with something transformative, you know, make me feel like a new person.
Oui, madame, but you must know that takes a little longer to prepare and requires some effort on your part. But if you are game, and we also have gamey truth, we will be happy to serve you that.
Well, I'm very hungry right now. I'm not sure I can wait. Oh, perhaps I could start with some shallow truth.
Most people do, madame. But if you are really in a hurry, may I recommend raw truth? And also, we're serving the naked truth.
Oh, my goodness, it sounds so risque. What is the difference?
Well, the raw truth is hard for most people to swallow. And the naked truth, only the choicest parts of the truth are exposed. Ooh la la.
Well, you know, I told you I've eaten truth in other places, and an hour later, I was hungry.
Well, what do you expect, madame? Those are empty truths.
Of course.
Now, we also have spicy truth. Very popular at the political parties we serve.
What is this fish dish?
Oui, unselfish. Best served with a party of 2 or more.
Oh, well, I'll have to wait till I can bring some friends.
Madame, I think I have the perfect entree for you. Tonight we are serving truth soufflé. Baked slowly over time, it evolves into the pièce de résistance. Personally discovered truth.
What is it? What is it?
Well, our chef combines 1 part mortal mind, 1 part indwelling spirit, mixes them in a rich blend of human experience, served over a bed of moral choices. Each creation is one of a kind. It is what you Americans might call soul food, madame.
It sounds so fulfilling. Oh, but is it fattening?
Oh, no, madame. The burden of truth, she's light.
Oh, why is that?
Why? Why? Because it is shared. That is why. And let me say this, madame, there are no fillers in our truth, no additives, and no misinformation. We serve the pure truth because it comes directly from the source.
Oh, what kind of sauce?
Saucy truth. It's very good, madame. Saucy truth.
Well, how do you do it? I mean, what is your secret recipe?
Well, the first thing we do when it is prepared is we sift out the fear, and then we drain the shame, and finally we peel away the doubt.
Oh, my goodness. What are these side dishes? Too good to be true.
Oui, madame. These truths are really too hard for most people to swallow, but if you have the appetite for them, they are supremely satisfying. Hard to believe, but true nevertheless.
I see. People are basically good. God loves you. The human race will make it. Oh, that is just too good to be true. Government is of the people. Oh, that is to die for. Men can be caring and committed. Is that a misprint?
No.
Oh. I'm basically loving and lovable. Oh, that's really too good to be true. May I have one of each?
Oh, oui, madame. Madame is very hungry for the truth.
But if I don't finish it, may I take it home?
Of course, madame, we have doggy bags, but you must understand this is not dogmatized truth.
You know, I should have asked this earlier. I'm on a rather limited budget, and you don't have any prices on this menu. How much is this going to cost?
Oh, madame, the truth is very reasonable.
What
Oh,
is-
oui, very reasonable indeed.
Oh, well, then, what's the desserts like?
Oh, dessert. Well, tonight we are serving the fruit tray, which follows the entree, served with an array of sound bites.
Oh, sound bites. I've heard of them.
We also have the layered truth. Oui, madame, the first layer is the personal truth, and then we fold that over with the interpersonal truth, and finally we top it off with the spirit of truth. And then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Oh, free. I can hardly wait.
Oui, madame, coming right up. And now we'd like to share a song with you that really comes from the deepest part of our hearts. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Me.
No, with me.
Let peace begin with me.
I don't think so.
It's going to begin with me.
No. We're talking about peace beginning with me. Get
We're
it?
talking about peace, therefore it's going to begin
No,
with
I don't
me.
think so. I don't think so. I think peace is going to start over here at this end. Okay?
Oh, no,
Over
peace
to me.
is going to start here with me.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I do know what I'm
No,
talking
if you
about.
know what you're talking
No,
about,
no,
you
I
do
know
that
what I'm
peace
talking
is
about.
here.
Peace is here.
No,
not-
peace starts here. It
Oh,
starts
no.
here with me. It's not going to start with you. Who do you think you are?
Me, I'm me, and peace is going to start
No,
with me.
I don't think so. Peace is going to start with
Oh,
me.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
oh,
yeah?
really?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah,
Oh,
really.
really?
You're going to start with
Oh, yes.
peace.
Oh,
You don't know
yes.
nothing about peace. No,
Stop!
stop. You stop.
Stop! It's very uncomfortable.
It's true.
It's uncomfortable.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it
Hurts.
is. Hurts. Uncomfortable.
Oh, I got an idea. Huh. How about,
I do.
What?
I have the same idea. I think I have the same idea. I can just intuit what you are thinking.
yes?
Yes.
Let peace
Peace
begin
with
with
them.
them.
We've heard a lot of talks today, and I know that so much of the fuel of what is going on in our country and our society starts with greed. But have we ever seen the face of greed up close and personal? Well, maybe you could take a look. With this piece we call having, or maybe it should be called getting.
Okay. It was easier when I wasn't 60 years old. Okay. Thank you. Hope you recognize yourself. Christmas is coming up. Remember that when you go shopping. We'd like to do one more piece for you. We like to call this piece Direct Access. And my spouse will be playing a part that she plays extraordinarily well and often. It's the part of God.
Anybody can play God whenever you choose. You can open casting card.
Oh dear. It's just so screwed up. It's just so messed up out there. I mean, you've got these forces and they're like taking control and they're underhanded and they cheat and they lie and they manipulate and they disempower us and they're controlling all the mass media and they're totally usurping our power. Yeah. And then there's the whole political thing. And in
it's totally undermining myself, not to mention my life. Oh, I got so many problems. You have no idea. I got health problems. I got this kidney failure, and I got economic things. I can't even hardly pay my rent. They want me to get out there and vote and make a difference politically when all I can do is think about how I survive every day, how I survive. Not to mention my love life, which is such a complete shambles. Right? I was hoping to find that person. I can't find that person. I feel so disempowered. I don't know what to do, and the problems are like mounting if we don't hurry up. The global warming and the global disasters, and everything is just going to completely erupt. And what to do. Oh, wait a minute. Of course. God, I'll call God. Yes, God will know. Okay. Here we go. All right. What's the number? Oh, yeah, right. SB. Okay. Ring.
Hello?
Oh, hello. Is God in?
God's always in.
Right. But I mean, is God in now?
God is always in now.
Oh, good. Well, God, I tell you, there's just this enormous stuff is coming down here, and I'm just like so confused and distraught. And just a minute, I got a call coming through. Hold on. Hello? Who's this? Distractions. Yeah. Oh, great. Oh, yeah, you called just in time. Yeah, no, I know. I forgot. Yeah, I got to get eggs at the market, and I've got to, vacation plans. Yeah, well, thank God we can go on these vacation now. We haven't been able to go on vacation, and we got the bowling. The kids, they're doing bowling. They got actually a new bowling alley here this year. And, oh yeah. Well, I got there's so many stuff in the job, and I got to work overtime. And, I got to put in 12 hours now. Well, it's, the good thing is that I've got I'm on a salary now. But it's still kind of, oh shoot. Just a minute. I'm going to put you on hold. Okay? Thanks. Hello. Oh God.
Yes?
Yeah. Boy, I'm sorry. In these circumstances, I don't know if you can see what's going on here, but I mean, it's really.
We can see what's going on.
You can.
Yeah.
Well, I want to
Take a deep breath, my son.
Yeah, I want to just a minute. Just a minute. I got another call coming in. Hold on. Hello. Oh, denial. Yeah, of course. All right. Not a problem. Yeah, we'd be cool. Yeah. No, everything is cool, man. Everything is copacetic. Oh, no. Hey, I trust our leadership. What's not to trust? It's our commander-in-chief. And all the rest of them, we put these people, oh, yeah, everything is cool. We're America, after all. Yeah. Oh, I feel good. Yeah, I'm so glad you called, but just a minute. Actually, God, sometimes...
Actually, God is good.
Uh-huh. Right, of course. Well, just a minute. I got another call. Damn. Hello? Excuses? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Not enough time. That's good. Not enough money. Yeah, what can one person do? I need some good excuses. Yes, I need some excuses. Who's got it? I won't make a difference. Yeah, I won't make it. I need some. Come on. It's too late to do anything about it. Got to pay the mortgage. I have to get in. I got to get enlightened. First, what am I supposed to do unless I'm enlightened? What else? Huh? I'm not the one. Hey, come on, they can do it. Oh, come on, hurry up. I'm running out of excuses. Huh? They'll put me in jail, lose my job, man. I'll be on the FBI wanted list, Huh? I'm too damn old, that's it. Oh yeah, it's not going to make, oh, I know. Just a minute. It's kind of lame. Okay, all right, I'm ready to hear what you got to say. God,
Are you sure?
I am sure, but,
You
oh
have
boy.
to be really sure.
Let me just take care of this one more call, and then I'll be really sure. Hello? Who's this? Oh, doubt. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what's the use? Yeah, no way. What can I do? Yeah, I mean, people are just basically, screwed up. I mean, who are we to think we can make anything positive? Yeah, I don't think yeah. I do doubt. I doubt a lot. I doubt myself. I doubt myself most of all. God, I'm full of doubt.
Yes, I know.
I don't know what to do.
Well, you have the power to know what to do.
Right.
You do. Just be still for a little while. Stop taking so many other calls.
Yeah, but
Just be still. Go within. Listen. You know,
Listen.
it is an inside job.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to mention, I don't know if any of you have heard of Robert Greenleaf and servant leadership, and he wrote a short little essay which I printed out called Who is the Enemy? And they're just on a little white thing out there. I really invite you to pick it up and read it. It's quite illuminating. Who is the enemy? Anyway, thank you.
Great. Thank you guys so much. All right. Next up, we have Neil Rogan. Final performer with wisdom and depth and humor is Swami Beyondananda. Steve Behrman is an internationally known author, humorist, and workshop leader, and for the past 18 years, he has written, performed as Swami Beyondananda, the cosmic comic. Swami's comedy has been called irreverently uplifting and has been described as both comedy disguised as wisdom and wisdom disguised as comedy. As the Swami, Steve is the author of 4 books, Driving Your Own Karma, When You See a Sacred Cow, Milk It for All It's Worth, Duck Soup for the Soul, and his latest, Swami for Precedent. So, for those of you who aren't that happy about the choices available, we do have the Swami for Precedent choice right now. And he has a 7-step plan to heal the body politic and cure erectile dysfunction.
Oh, you need a microphone. This one? Up, there it is.
Well, hello, everybody. Okay, now I just heard that we are running about a half hour late, and we need to end exactly on time. So would everybody please turn your watches back a half hour? I was going to talk to you about being in the now, but it's too late, so we won't do that. But I have great news. I believe that living in the now will become the wave of the future. And time itself will become a thing of the past. So there we go. Now, with all of the heavy stuff going on, you say, why comedy? Well, it's simple. Because there's definitely something funny going on. And a lot of people aren't laughing. People, everywhere I go, people say, Swami, I could have sworn I voted for West Wing. How do we end up with The Sopranos? I mean, forget mob rule. This is mobster rule, you know. And there's a lot of fear. There's people who are afraid of terrorism, and of course, I'm a little bit more afraid of anti-terrorism. Although I will say this, the war on terror has made our lives simpler. They've taken the Bill of Rights, boiled it down to just one. You have the right to remain silent. And of course, the war on terror has produced many great technological advances. You know, back in the 1960s, President John F. Kennedy declared that he would have a man on the moon by the end of that decade, and look how far we've come. thanks to the so-called Patriot Act, George Bush can have a man on Uranus by the end of the week. For indeed, the irony curtain has come down. The irony curtain, that is the wall of impropaganda that separates we the people from the truth. Because the media inundates us with so much toxic BS that our skeptic system has overflowed. And we end up swallowing huge ironies whole. This is called irony deficiency. Now, seeing a doctor won't help, but seeing a paradox will. So here's an irony supplement to chew on. What about those free speech zones that you just heard about? See, you have the right to speak freely as long as nobody can hear you. And that brings up the great philosophical question. If a speech falls freely in the forest and there's no one there to hear, is it still free speech? Here's another irony. Bill Clinton, remember Bill Clinton, right? Yeah. Well, he took an outturn with an intern, right? And his little peccadillo got blown out of proportion, didn't it? Meanwhile, George Bush is in bed with that lay over at Enron who has screwed millions. And we don't hear about that because the media keeps us occupied with weapons of mass distraction. A good example is what happened at the Super Bowl. MoveOn.org wanted to run an ad that was critical of George Bush. And CBS, what an aptly named network, CBS, they refused to run the ad. I guess because they only want you to see the BS they want you to see. But they were perfectly willing to keep us abreast of Janet Jackson, weren't they? And isn't that like the mass media? Totally willing to expose a little boob, unwilling to expose a big one. Irony deficiency. Irony deficiency. No wonder we're suffering from mad cowboy disease. Now that's a disease that begins in the head of state, where we are, herded into the wilderness and put in a state of catalepsy. That's what's going on. And I have more sad news. Apparently, scientists have discovered that our planetary laugh force has been compromised. There's a hole in the boson layer. Not enough levity rising. So I've started the Right to Laugh party. Right to Laugh. Our slogan is one big party, everyone is invited. So this is, and you might have heard the rumor, by the way, that I was running for president, and my inner voice told me to do this, but I was replaying my inner messages. You can do that. And the message was, Swami, we need a new precedent. Because if we choose a new precedent, a new president will follow. So how is this for a new precedent? Government of the people, by the people, for the people, where the government does our bidding, not the bidding of the highest bidder. Yes. Now, we've turned to the Democrats, and I have to tell you, ever since they had that electile dysfunction a few years ago, those Democrats can't seem to get an election, can they? Can I be blunt with you? For the last 10 years, the Republicans have been playing hardball. Democrats have been playing hardly have balls. Now people ask me, how do you feel about Ralph Nader running? I would love to see Ralph Nader run. In fact, I volunteered to lead the mob that chases him. Because in 2000, Ralph Nader said there was no difference between Bush and Gore. And he was right, sort of. Because look, Bush became president, we got plenty of Gore. Makes you wonder if Gore had become president, well, never mind. But Ralph Nader is right about one thing. There's too much money that goes into the electoral process. You know, now John Kerry, he was criticized because when he was behind in Iowa, he used his wife's deep pocketbook. But I say, poetically just, perfect. Because look, using Heinz money to play catch-up? Perfect, perfect. Am I the only one, or does anybody else here think that the United States is a wholly owned subsidiary of Halliburton? Anybody? See, you know, back in the American Revolution was really about taxation without representation, and now it's 180 degrees different. Now we have representation without taxation, because there's many corporations that pay little or no taxes and yet have more say than any million of us. They figured out, why should they pay taxes when they can pay the legislators directly? Eliminate the middleman. Yes, and they have mastered, many of them have mastered an ancient art of using their energy, what the Chinese call qi, to gain unfair advantage. This is called cheating. Cheating. So we must elect ourselves. We don't need a revolution in this country. We already had one. We already had a revolution. And so now we need the American evolution, where we evolve into the conscious, sovereign citizens that our founding fathers imagined. We have to elect ourselves. George Bush did it, why not us? And how do we begin the American evolution? Very simple. The evolution begins on November 2nd when we fire the first big shot. This is a two-step program. Step 1, de-elect the misleader. Step 2, become the leader we have been missing. Very, very important. You know, I think we need to use our imagination more. That is the most, You know, this is a whole new system that the angels have. Every time a cell phone rings, an angel gets his wings, so. It's for me, it's okay. I already gave it the office. We need to change some things in our country. You know, we need to have a new natural anthem. Because why are we affirming bombs bursting in there? Is that the kind of affirmation we want for the next generation? And what's it with these ramparts? Ramparts, my goodness. That sounds like a perversion, ramparts. Only one should be thinking about ramparts are sheep, that's all. We humans have been ramming parts for far too long. And all this budding has turned us into a nation of buttheads. And all of this, because when you only have the male aggressive energy in our government, you know what you have? A stagnation. Time to let the feminine energy make a donation. And maybe together we can have some imagination. Imagination is the most abundant human resource on the planet. See, if you don't like the current programming, my slogan is turn off your TV, television instead. That's right. Television. I television to you, you television to me. And tonight we'll have a chance to tell more visions when we go over to the next space for the VIP dinner. Or, well, I guess they'll have food there, yes. Food, and plenty of food for thought. The Colonel will be back with a few more colonels, and I will be back to answer or evade any questions you might have. And you'll have a chance to tell a vision, telling your vision. It's amazing, you know, that way we have these healthy, functional visions to step into. And that beats what we've been stepping into. My guru, Hari Khan Baba, the Garment Center saint, said, life is like a good deli. Even if something isn't on the menu, if enough of us order it, they have to make it. So if you want a healing New World Order, it is up to us to put in our New World Order form. Now, I have a dream. I have a dream that someday, instead of Armageddon, we will achieve Disarmageddon. And we will actually have non-judgment day. Yes, on non-judgment day, the elephant will lie down with the donkey. And not roll over on him like usual. On non-judgment day, every session of the United Nations will begin with the hokey pokey. Imagine Yasser Arafat and Ariel Sharon. They put their whole selves in. That is commitment. They put their whole selves out. That is detachment. They turn themselves around. That is transformation. And that's what it's all about. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May the farce be with you always. Yes. Thank you.
And we will have an encore at the VIP reception. We do have really good food. It's from Whole Foods. We've got drink, we've got comedy, we've got the opportunity to network with each other. I really want to urge you to do this because I really feel like we are at a turning point. And this is the group. This right here, there's the consciousness, there's the depth, there's the power, the network power to turn this whole thing around before the election happens tonight. So please, please go over there. And before everybody starts rustling, what I want to do is I want to take a moment or minute of silence. And I want to sort of just, everybody get still and just, we've absorbed a lot today. Close your eyes. And start with just a blessing for yourself. Honoring yourself for being brave enough to face this material, to take a stand in the world, to dare to make a difference. Extending that blessing to all the many souls who have been harmed in many ways by the acts of 9/11 and the acts that have followed 9/11. And sending our love and prayers and blessings to them. And extending a big ball of love emanating from this room, extending to all the rest of this country. Many hundreds of millions of very good, caring people who are walking in a trance, and sending them love to help them see through the trance and go through their transformation. And yes, even include those who we sometimes think of as the enemy. Those people in power who, for their own reasons, are using that power for ways that don't serve. Sending them love as well. May the blessings from this conference ripple outwards in many magical ways, forward from this day and outward from this room. Thank you for coming.
Before we break, I'd like to one more time thank everyone who contributed.
Yeah, I was going to do that too. So I want to give a special thanks. Neil mentioned that we need 2 balls. I think Byron might have 3 balls, actually. This is the man with the balls who had the courage to say, let's do this conference, let's make this happen. And he's taken the stand and helped raise the money, and he's the balls behind this operation, as well as having a very big heart. So, thanks to Byron. Many thanks to Ken, who I have said is the godfather of the Marin 9/11 movement, and none of us would be here without Ken. Oh, thank you to myself, thank you to Eliana and Doug and Colette, the healing crew, the speakers, and all of you. And also especially, one thing I want to mention, we have had a couple of donors step up in a much more powerful way, and one of them is anonymous, or actually both of them I think want to be anonymous, but they have made this happen today. And so just silently send your blessings to those anonymous people who have stepped forward and put real money into this in a way that is rippling out in a lot of touching ways. And one of them has agreed to provide matching funds up to $1,000 for anything that's donated at the reception tonight. So if you want to donate to this and move things forward, you double your money tonight if you come to the reception, and you get food and entertainment. You can't beat that.
Anybody that truly can't afford to come, somebody wrote a check for 2 people and he had to leave. So if there are 2 of you that would just like to come and don't have the cash, come on over.
Great. Very good.
Thank you to Stephen Dinan, producer.
Oh, and you're gonna perform as well. That's right. Yeah, I forget. Errol and Rochelle, we are getting a bonus piece from them as well over there. So I neglected to mention that. So get bonus acts from all of the folks tonight.